Hello everybody, this is the Miracle Perspective, but today I'm on a different show, as you can see, Akani TV, Akani Talks they call it, hosted by a man that I'm going to introduce to you today. He's a psychologist, a very experienced man in the industry of clinical psychology. And today's topic is very interesting and it's coming at the right time when the whole world is bombarded by a crisis of coronavirus. And today's topic is spreading psychology like coronavirus. And the man behind that idea and the topic is this man, Mr. T.T MANZINI. Welcome to your show.
Thanks very much. Welcome, Mr. TMP. I'm very honored to have you on the show. This is the first ever show, so I'm glad to have you as a host. But now I'm a guest.
Yes. So already you can see that there's a whole lot of uniqueness to this channel because he's the host, but I'm the host, hosting him as the host and the guest, and the host guesting the host. We're just bringing some life into the channel, guys. It's a new channel, a phenomenal channel. He invited me to come and do this, and I was like, let me hear what you think. What is going on in your head? And he told me the idea behind this, and I bought into the idea. That's why I was like, I'm all in, and I'm gonna wear the shirt to advertise because I want the idea to move forward and to sell. Everybody needs to know about this. But before we get there, tell us, who are you, say, and what do you do, and why are you interested in what you are interested in?
Okay, so basically I'm a psychologist. I grew up in a village in Belferdine. As a young boy, I used to be interested, fascinated. I used to ask many questions from my friends, and until they realized that I always ask a lot of questions and I ask why. They even said the sun doesn't set without me asking why. So it was the interest that I had in terms of trying to understand behavior, trying to understand why people do certain things and how they behave. So with that, it sort of created that interest for me to find a career that can help me discover and realize what I wanted in terms of understanding human behavior. Also, I had an exposure from at home. My uncle is usually good in terms of welcoming people, and we had many people who were mentally disturbed coming and visiting him. So from there, I sort of developed more interest in terms of understanding mental health. And fortunately, I did get some exposure. There were some books that were available about psychology. And then I read, and then I went to enroll. Then it was unfortunately a long journey. It's a long journey to become a psychologist. So yes, so from there, it was that process where you have to go to get your degree, your honors, and then you go for master's selection, which was tough. You're likely to go to 1 or 3, or others even have to wait for 2 or 4 years. So I was fortunate. I went to one university. I was not selected, but the next one I was selected. Then I did my master's to qualify as a psychologist. But it's just to give an idea of what I do. But I am interested in human behavior.
And you have your own practice, by the way.
Yes, I have my own practice called Tsemba Psychological Services, which is the one sponsoring Akani Talks.
So tell us more. Let's get into the whole experience that you have right now. Why is psychology very important to you? And why do you think it's very important for you to come out to the world and talk about psychology?
Okay, so psychology is very important. It's about the way of life and how do we deal with the challenges and the dynamics that we face. So it's very much important. But I can also bring to you the statistics, what is happening in our country, South Africa. In terms of the ratio per psychologist, you find that one psychologist is to 10,000 people. So can you imagine? That is a lot. And the statistics might vary, but the long and short of it, it comes to that point that there's a shortage of psychologists. We need more people who can assist. We look at what is happening in our country. We are faced with poverty. The economy is not doing well. High stress, high levels of stress.
Depression is too high.
Yes, depression, suicide. It's happening. Load shedding is also contributing. So we need people
to psychological problems.
Yeah, so we need psychologists to come and intervene, but we've got shortage, and we also don't have the voice of psychology out there. So that's why we need to spread this psychology like corona, because corona is spoken about all over, and we need psychology to be spoken about all over the place. Also, another said example that I can bring to the attention now, if we look at Central Africa Republic, the country has one psychologist, the whole country. So can you imagine, the country is embroiled in civil war, there's many trauma, there's a lot of hate. We need psychologists to come and facilitate the healing and play their part. So we need that voice, we need psychology to be out there. So we need to spread it like coronavirus.
So as you're saying, I'm reading here, there's news that the HPCSA in 2017, they confirmed the registration of about 13,000, under 13,000
yes.
psychologists. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, but if you look at, even if you can just use common sense, if you've got under 13 psychologists in a country with a population about 50 million, so you can tell that there are many places where psychologists are unable to reach. So now, through Akani Talks, we'll try to reach those people, those communities. From the village where I come from, I had to do a lot of work of bringing awareness, doing health talks, telling people what psychology is. So this psychology is not being taken to the people. We lack that voice, we lack that input. So that is why we're looking at that. So that is actually a bad thing if you can look at that. Not saying that because I'm a statistician, but because you can look at the common sense and see that this is something that is concerning.
So let's take it outside of South Africa.
Yes.
What are the stats, maybe in Africa, what are the stats of psychologists that are available compared to the amount of people that are there?
So usually with South Africa, we're much more better and advanced. So as I've mentioned, the Central African Republic, the whole country has only one psychologist. So you can imagine all our sister countries in the continent, they also struggling. There's likely the same problem that we're facing, shortages of psychologists. But instead of focusing on that, we need to improvise. That is why we're bringing these Akani Talks to come and bridge the gap. People or psychologists can come and share much information, give advice, guidelines. They can share research topics. Most often, people come and do research, but they never go back to the communities and give feedback. So through this platform, that will be happening. That is what we want to highlight and focus on. And also to bring a new way of looking at psychology.
Mr. Temba.
Yes.
Let us dissect this topic like this. In my mind, it doesn't make sense. The statistics you're bringing to me,
yes,
they tell me that if such a country, say for example, you're saying in Congo,
yes,
there's only one psychologist.
Yeah, it's a Central African Republic.
Central African Republic.
Yes.
There's one psychologist. What does that tell me in my mind? It tells me that maybe there's no need for psychologists, number one, to a normal mind who doesn't know much about it.
Yes.
Number two, maybe people don't know about psychology and the importance of psychology. Number three, which is very important to the younger generations in choosing careers, maybe there's no money in psychology. So what is the problem? Why is there not many psychologists out there?
So it's what I can say in terms of that, there is money for most psychologists. I can speak as an example in our country. The salary is good for those who still want to study, and also going to number one, it could be true that people maybe they don't see the need, and that is why we have to explain to them to know what is it. So what is psychology all about? What is it that they can be able to gain and learn from this. And that is the experience that we want to bring, by the notion, like we want to spread it like coronavirus. We want people to know more about it so they can benefit from it, so they can be able to, so they can have that impact. We want to make it simple and palatable for them. And then also in terms of your number two is something that can be attended to, that can be influenced in a positive way.
Like you're doing.
Yes, yes. So there are other reasons why there are not many psychologists out there. If you can look at the institutions of higher learning, they train few psychologists in the past.
And it's hard to qualify.
Yes, the years are long and you can get delayed with research. I stayed for 2 years trying to finish my research. So 2 years of unwanted or unplanned gap year. Yeah, so these are some of the things that we're looking at. But fortunately, through the media, the social media, and the platform that we have, that we are using, this is about to change. So that is why we need to focus on ways on how, new ways how we can be able to spread psychology like coronavirus.
Interesting. So, according to your profile and your whole objective of Akani Talks, you are talking about access, improving coping, relevant information dissemination,
Yes.
bridging the gap and the shortage of psychologists, as we've already explained, and to normalize psychology and to make it palatable.
Yes.
Can you just make it? What do you mean by this?
I think actually what I mean is that there is someone who is suffering emotionally. There's a young girl who has no support, no one to talk to. She's thinking about committing suicide. So we need someone who can say, we understand what you're going through. We can imagine that what you're going through is difficult. So there are people who are losing hope. We want to restore hope. There are people who are becoming hopeless. We want to bring hope out of that hopelessness. So there's a lot that is going on. So imagine from what we could be talking about, making an impact out there in the community, saving someone's life, changing someone's family from being dysfunctional to being functional, saving a couple that is about to divorce. These are the things that we're talking about. This is what we do as psychologists, but most often it is usually afforded to those who with affluence, those who have money, and those who don't have the means and the opportunities that are usually marginalized. So we need to bring a new approach and a new way, try to take it as far as to the poorest of them, to the poor of the poorest in the country. As long as they can be able to have access, someone can watch the video and take it and teach what we've been talking about here to the community where they come from. So that is the spreading of the information as well, the knowledge sharing. That is what we want out of this, out of Akani Talk, is to unleash inspiration. That is why the theme is inspiration unleashed.
Interesting stuff. So what is your plan for the channel? Let's get there now.
So in terms of the plan, people like psychologists, they can come and be part of the show. They can come and be our guests. Then I'll be the host by then. So they can write an email to us to Akani TV at tsemba.co.za, or they can call 081 537 9669. Also, we'll be uploading the videos on a monthly basis, 2 videos per month, and as time goes on, we might increase the number of videos that we upload. So we're pleading to all the psychologists to come and to share their expertise and knowledge and experience, and we make an impact and spread psychology to all corners of the world. So viewers, they can also engage with us. They can send us an email to the email that I said, or they can go to www.tsemba.co.za, which is the website. It has many links, and all our social media platforms are there. Twitter, Instagram, everything they'll be able to find there.
Wow, interesting. And there you have it, people out there, viewers, new viewers to a new channel. You can see that there's a whole lot of information that is coming up, a whole lot of things prepared by this man. By the way, he was on, what's this, ANN7. Is it ANN7?
It's a Newsroom Africa.
Newsroom Africa, the past, how many weeks? 2-3 weeks back? And
Yes.
he was the guest expert in psychology talking about the issue of suicide in teenagers. And he really knows what he's talking about. And that's why I'm doing this, because I wouldn't do this with someone I don't trust. So I trust him as a psychologist, and I also endorse this because I know that people are killing themselves. There's a whole lot of problems that people are facing, and they don't know what the solution is. Mainly because they don't know about the importance of psychology. And what the channel is bringing is the help and solution to all those problems that we've been having. And these services are not cheap. Consultation for psychologists, they're high, man. They vary from, the amounts are high. So, but to get information simple on a global media platform, which is relatively cheap, we can use it through Wi-Fi. I think it's an opportunity for us to take use and to maximize on and to take advantage of. And I commend you for what you've just done, sir. All the best to your channel.
Yes.
And I need to have you on my own channel.
Yes.
I must get an interview because I have a lot of questions. Basically, I'm a psychologist at heart, not by qualification or experience.
Yes.
So I have a lot of psychological questions I need to ask, more especially questions that affect society and that are in line with the objectives of my channel. By the way, I am Miracle Chawane, the host and the founder of the Miracle Perspective, which I also invite you to go and subscribe to. It's a YouTube channel endorsing Akani TV. So when you see me on Akani TV, I am supporting Akani TV. When you see Akani TV on the Miracle Perspective, he's supporting the Miracle
I'll be coming.
Perspective. He will be coming, and I'm gonna host him very soon, probably maybe in the next few weeks. But guys, thank you for tuning in, and please do subscribe to the channel because it's here and it's here to stay, and it's bringing good things and it's bringing life to everybody. As he says, it's creativity and unleashing what again?
It's inspiration unleashed.
Inspiration unleashed.
Yes.
So you will be inspired. What are your last words for your viewers?
So my last word, it will be a Chinese proverb that says, if you ask a question, you are a fool for 5 minutes. But then if you don't ask a question, you remain a fool forever. So in short, it is important to ask, to seek help. I'm encouraging all people, if you notice that you feel you are weak, things are not going well, just come out, be open, ask for help. And there are many people who are there to help you. And also those psychologists that are there out there, they'll be able to assist you as well. Obrigado, Kanimamba.
Thank you. It's finished. Goodbye.